Good morning to Paul, sir, Paul Anderson, sir, and good evening to everyone from India. I am Dr. Manish Kumar, working as a principal scientist in CSIR Institute of Minerals and Materials Technology, and I extend a sincere thank to for the Green Carbon webinar, and especially Christian Wurger for organizing it and taking the lead. Biochar is an important topic, and so many diversified areas are being tackled worldwide. And one among them is how to make the biochar enriched with nutrient, which is getting attention in recent past. Therefore, and I am also working in India on this topic. So I propose here to deliver a brief work, you can say, experience what we are doing in India, especially. So my topic is nutrient enriched biochar, status, scope, and challenges. Next slide, Roger. So basically, biochar is regarded as one of the soil amendment, and its main use is for liming agent. And apart from that, we are looking for this as a carbon sequestration agent. But if the biochar will be added with nutrient value, then its application tremendously increase, and it can provide different kind of nutrient to plant also, apart from conditioning the soil. Nutrient addition can be done by selecting some nutrient-rich biomass, or we can mix the nutrient-rich materials. Also, from the wastewater, we can absorb nutrient on the biochar, and we can produce through the pyrolysis method a biochar fertilizer. Fertilizers are generally synthetic material with high quantity of nutrients, but here we are taking that biochar will have an appreciable amount of nutrient value, and it will be regarded as biochar fertilizer. It will not be like the synthetic fertilizer where the percentage of nutrients are very, very high. So we can take care of nitrogen at lower temperature, phosphorus, potassium. These all nutrients can be, you can say, retained in biochar fertilizer during the various pyrolytic processes. And even for the nutrient like phosphorus and sulfur, it need to be enriched with microbial consortium to remobilize it for making it available to the fertilizer. So this is the you can say conceptual framework which we published as a review article in 2021 with my PhD scholar Adnan, who is still working with me at India. Next slide, Roger. So here I wish to highlight that to make the nutrient in this biochar, as I have told you, if you select the nutrient-rich waste biomass, like you can have a banana peduncle, which is potassium-rich in nature. Few of the nutrient and sewage sludge are phosphorus-rich. If you will utilize it directly and make the thermochemical treatment or pyrolysis, we may get the nutrient-rich biochar. Or we can pre-treat the biochar with the nutrient-rich material, waste material, like there are many waste, you can say cave feldspar, and many industrial waste are having rich nutrient value, like phosphogypsum in particular, released from fertilizer industry waste. So that can be also utilized, and it can be pyrolyzed with the waste biomass to produce the biochar nutrient enriched fertilizer. So these are the few you can say approaches or we can adopt for producing the nutrient rich enriched biochars. Next slide, please. So I just search the scope, or you can say the intensity of the work worldwide, how nutrient enriched biochar is going on, and Web of Science search showed we can see only in 2011 only 2 papers where they are having the nutrient enriched biochar as a keyword, but in 2021 it reached to 26. So slowly it reflects that biochar, nutrient-enriched biochar is gaining momentum and receiving the citations also in large number. So people are orienting towards producing the biochar with a high nutrient value, so that its application and commercialization will increase in recent future. Next slide, Pooja. And the interdisciplinary research domain is also picking up to tackle the situation. The research manuscript or the document what we found, they were on different domain like environmental science domain, soil science, agronomy, environmental engineering, green and sustainable science. Somebody has done from plant science angle and ecological angle. So these all reflect that the nutrient-enriched biochar will be not only the sole study in terms of enrichment of nutrient in biochar, but it need to be looked from different domain, ecological domain, safety domain, plant science domain, agronomical domain. These all things will come in together, so that this area will be seeing the day of the light. Next slide. And our journey started with my first PhD student, Dr. Adnan. And basically, we have selected a waste that is called banana peduncle. We are in India, and India being in subtropical region produces huge quantity of banana. And this banana peduncle, the fruit, you can say, the part where the fruit is attached, it goes waste in the cities, and it is thrown in the fruit, you can say, market. And we want to utilize this banana peduncle waste for prepare the nutrient-enriched biochar. So we did the collection from the city, and we carried our experiments. Next slide. India produces many amount of waste, and they are used for fodders, cooking fuel. They get composted. Many of the time they are incorporated in soil, and especially in northwest India, the burning in the open field is a problem which is creating a huge air pollution issue, especially in Delhi in the winter season. And here the graph is showing that banana is not only being produced in India, 135 countries produces banana. So our process, what we have developed here, has a wider ramification in Africa, Brazil, and in countries mostly in tropical and subtropical region where bananas are grown. Next slide, please. So I have already elaborated upon only 12% of banana plants are being used, and rest other are thrown away. So we have selected this waste to really work out for the production of biochar. Next slide, please. But the real issue is drying of the biomass, because to dry it in the air, it required many area to dry it after shredding or cutting the biomass. Also, the seasonal disturbance, India being in monsoon climate, where the rain is being received for 4 to 5 months during May to October. So the difficulty of air drying or sun drying is always faced, and therefore some energy requirements are there to dry the biomass. So these are the challenging issue, and as it will be energy intensive, some low cost technology need to be developed. But our drying, we chose the air drying. It required 10 days to reduce the moisture. About 80% moisture were reduced by sun drying. Next slide. So this is the pictorial depiction. We took the banana peduncle, we shred it, or you can powder it, and then we pyrolyze it to produce potassium-enriched biochar. Next slide. So here is the result. Basically, we started our work utilizing plasma pyrolysis. We also used tube furnaces, and with the help of Professor Paul Anderson, now we have worked for the low cost kiln method, which he mentored us. And basically this low cost kiln is very much you can say useful, because the source of banana peduncle are not you can say centralized, they are dispersed at different location. So probably for the farmer centric, or from the viewpoint of a small and medium entrepreneur, the ROCC kiln method will, I think it will gain importance. From the result we can see that banana peduncle on a dry banana peduncle contains around 6% of potassium inherently, and if we are pyrolyzing it, the potassium content in drum method goes to 10%, about 10 to 15%. But in plasma, the concentration, the quantity of potassium got enrichment was more, because lot of volatiles and other waste were lost during the plasma pyrolysis due to higher temperature, and the enrichment of the potassium was about 26%. But plasma pyrolysis probably cannot be economical. It requires a huge amount of investment apart from the energy input. So it may not be sustainable probably. Next slide, please. So these all are the some analytical results. You can see the ACM image of biochar. The biochar were very porous, and the surface area was also reasonably good, which is important for holding the moisture. And here the FTIR diagram shows the different kind of functional group which was found in biochar sample, and it can really influence the retention of different kind of cationic and anionic nutrient in soil. So they are going to support the soil fertility and overall productivity of the soil. Next slide, please. Here is the mechanism what we saw, how the potassium get concentrated, because in our biochar basically it formed calcineite, that is potassium hydrogen carbonate, and there are many other mineral formation can take place if the potassium enriched material, biomass material will be mineralized. So it has been pictorially reflected here at lower temperature what will happen, and if the temperature will go up to more than 700 degree centigrade, then what kind of reaction will be taking place. And there is a comparison that from 1 hectare of banana farm, 200 kg of biochar, potassium enriched biochar can be produced, and they are free of chloride, because muriate of potash, that KCl, what commercially available for many of the crop like grapes and all, chloride is a you can say not suitable for those crop. The biochar can be utilized because it do not contain any chloride into it. Next slide, please. So here the Paul Anderson sir was here in the 2019 December, and our journey began for utilizing banana leaves along with banana peduncle, and he helped us in designing this 4C kiln, now renamed as ROCC kiln by improving its design aspect. And we really produced this biochar through this. And we found that there was not significant difference what we produced biochar in tube furnace. Only the yield was less in tube furnace because temperature was very, very high. Nevertheless, in drum also we found that temperature was reaching in between 500 to 600 for a certain period of time when the flame was very much you can say present. So ROCC kiln, I feel, and I have a confidence that this can change the scenario if it will be taken for the wider propagation, as Professor Anderson was also telling, that it need to be disseminated to the larger masses to utilize various kind of agro residue for preparing the biochar. Next slide, please. So this is the calculation that for India, how much biochar we can produce from potassium enriched biochar from banana peduncle itself, and calculation is based on the average estimation, because banana plant generally 4,000 banana plant can be planted in 1 hectare of area, and one peduncle will weight around 1 kg. So 4,000 kg of banana peduncle we can get. If we will dry it, 90% of the moisture will go. So we can get around 400 kg of dried banana peduncle from 1 hectare of area. And if you will pyrolyze it at around 500 degrees centigrade, and assuming the yield will be 20%, we can get 80 kg of biochar from 1 hectare of banana plantation peduncle waste. Apart from that, leaf can be also utilized. So we can get around more than 150 kg of biochar, potassium enriched biochar from banana waste per hectare. And overall, seeing the acreage of banana peduncle in India, which is around 8.5 million hectare, we can get around 0.68 metric ton of biochar from India alone. This is the you can say the calculation, mathematical calculation. The figure may vary according to the situation and the specific conditions. Next slide, please. Apart from that, we have also utilized some of the industrial waste to add some nutrient value in the biomass, or you can say in the charcoal what we produced from through the pyrolysis. And we know that phosphogypsum is one of the bulky waste. In India, it is not under the category of hazardous waste, but in European and USA, phosphogypsum is being categorized as hazardous waste. And therefore in India we took this waste, which is very acidic in nature, and it contains good amount of sulfur, as it is the main constituent is calcium sulfate dihydrate. So as the pH was less and it contained a good amount of sulfur, we have utilized this waste along with the biomass, that is banana peduncle, to produce potassium sulfur rich nutrient rich biochar. Next slide, please. So this is the schematic diagram. What we did, we took the phosphogypsum, we mixed the banana peduncle in the powder form, and we did the thermal plasma processing. We have the results are of plasma processing, but we have extended the work on in tube furnace and even in ROCC kiln, and we are getting encouraging result. Nevertheless, in ROCC kiln, due to the high acidic nature of phosphogypsum, the corrosion can be there, but ROCC kiln was also able to transform this highly acidic phosphogypsum waste to highly alkaline. And as banana was having potassium into it, so it get enriched and reacted with sulfur of the phosphogypsum. And now the phosphogypsum, which was getting used for alkaline soil, it can be used for acidic soil as its pH has gone up. It is just a schematic diagram, and papers are published. People can refer for seeing the result. Next slide, please. So the most difficult part is because lots of biomass or agro residue waste are being generated with different characteristics, and field trials also will be giving different kind of result. What we are facing, the most important difficulty in getting this nutrient enriched biochar to go to the market is lacking the field test result data sheet, because the trial at our end is having one soil. If unless and until the trial will be not done at multi-locational trial, the certification for its you can say the improvement of the soil quality cannot be done. Therefore still we are unable to commercialize these biochar product. Nevertheless, one of the banana peduncle biochar straight away has been taken by a party, and probably he will be producing the potassium enriched biochar, and it will see the day of the light in the market also in near future. Next slide, please. So we have seen from the internet source that many biochars are available in the market, but they are not reflecting about any kind of data set about its nutrient. They are mostly carbon rich, which will be changing the pH value of the soil, or they can work as a conditioner, but the nutrient value is not being reflected in our search. Next slide, please. We did search on Google about the product with the nutrient enriched biochar, but we found these are the product which is coming to the during the our web search, but none of the product still reflect about any specific product which are really reflecting some kind of a nutrient enrichment in biochar product. Next slide, please. So how to go ahead and what are the challenges related to nutrient enriched biochar? It is, I have already told that the most important thing is complexity of diverse, you can say, biomass resource and its utilization requirement, because each biomass is having its diverse, you can say, chemical composition, or you can say the variety to variety, or the place to place the composition changes, and the availability, it's all vary. And still the awareness is lacking between the farmers and entrepreneurship. They are a little bit concerned about the marketability issue also. Low cost pyrolysis setup is also not there. ROC cycle we are trying to propagate, but still the market for the low cost pyrolysis setup is not you can say existing in vogue. Therefore the problem of taking it at the farmer fields are getting difficulties, or package of practices for the pyrolysis processes are also not there. Research and data informations are also scattered. Probably many trials are needed, field scale trial, before taking this product to the market. And piecemeal approach are being followed. We are also restricted to that, because our work is only progress in the lab, but we need to take it to the field for its testing, which is needed. Policy support, of course, needed. Poor market linkage, as I have already told, that the milieu for the nutrient enriched biochar, it will take time, because farmers are also very much concerned how much quantity, how frequently, whether one time use will be done, what will be my soil health after putting the biochar. These all matters really make the farmer skeptical about the use of biochar products. So problem of certification is also there. In India, there is no you can say certification still available. So probably these all difficulties are will be taken care in future, and things are going in a very you can say progressive way, and we will be seeing that these biochar product will be coming to market very soon. Next slide, please. So the approach will be really you can say collaborative and integrated, because not only it will be agriculture, engineering, microbiology, biotechnology, social scientists, startups, government bodies, incubators, innovators. These all need to come together, and location specific trials are needed to really keep on going for the biochar work, especially for nutrient enriched biochar. Next slide, please. So these are few publications from our institute. We also filed 2 patents. Basically, one patent got commercialized for the small scale industry, which was about producing potash enriched biochar, and one DST project we got where we are setting up the pilot scale study for the phosphogypsum work. And I have guided few students on these topics. So things are going ahead at lab scale. We want to take it to the field scale. Next slide, please. Next slide, please.
So it's already next on my.
Okay, sorry. And this is the just our team group. We are working on lot many biomass waste, lawn grass, paddy straw, aquatic weed like lantana camera and stuff like that. So we are looking for all the scope, starting from downsizing approach of drum or kiln method to the pilot scale study, which will be undertaken once the facility will be created, which will be 30 kg per hour capacity with bio oil collection and syngas, you can say, characterization at our lab. Next slide, please. So I really thank especially Green Carbon webinar, you can say lead Christian Weber and other who really worked with us and our mentor organization, and especially Paul Anderson sir for guiding us and doing some work, helping us in taking the biochar movement in India, in eastern part of India. Thank you all for your patience hearing.
Thank you very much, Manish. Very nice, very interesting work you do. I just quickly check the questions. So we are open to questions. If you have any, please write them into the chat. I have to read them first. From first question from Pierre yesterday. Have you considered hydrothermal carbonization to avoid the drying of your feedstock?
No. I have not done any hydrothermal carbonization process still.
Okay, the chat is a little bit confusing right now because there was a discussion, I think, about the previous presentation. I have had a question. So you produced potassium. You use potassium-rich feedstocks. Have you tried to mix your potassium-rich feedstock with a phosphor-rich biomass in any kind, other than your mineral phosphorus gypsum?
No. Phosphogypsum is sulfur-rich, Christian. It is not for phosphorus-rich. But many literatures are telling that municipal solid wastes are phosphorus rich. So we may be in future taking up the matter, but till now we have not done any kind of a work with the phosphorus rich. But nevertheless, the fertilizer industry pond wastewater it contains lot of phosphorus, about 2% of phosphorus. So we are trying to use it, but while producing the biochar, they are loaded with the heavy metals. That is a major concern. So we need to strike a balance because biochar is produced, but if they are loaded with heavy metal, it may not see the day or the light. So we are looking forward to make it rich with phosphorus also by selecting some, you can say, less contaminated, you can say, inputs.
Yeah, I'm just saying because we are working with potassium doping of phosphorus of sewage sludge, and we found that the phosphorus is then plant available if you add potassium. So that might be something that is interesting for your banana.
Yeah, banana, especially all banana plant, if you will take on dry wet basis, they contain about 6% of potassium. So it is huge, and in India, majority of the wastes are getting lost. Many, they are using it for making some thread or things like that. But I think biochar will be one of the alternative. It can be utilized on farmer fields itself, because it is an annual crop, and each year a banana plantation will you can say generate huge quantity of waste, and it can be processed at the farmer fields level itself. So we are working for it, and we are also doing some skill development program in India to take our work to the field so that farmer can take the advantage and some commercial entity can be established on our work.
And you got 3 more questions. So the one from Rob. If we are interested in nutrient-rich biochar, could we consider using a high carbon content biochar as an adsorbent to capture nutrients from loaded vegetative biomass to load it with nutrients?
Yeah, it can be utilized. It can be utilized if biomass will containing the nutrient. Mostly the alkali nutrient will be retained. Nitrogen and all get lost because of they get volatilized during the process. But most of the alkali nutrient will be retained, like potassium, your phosphorus, sulfur, calcium, magnesium. These all will be retained during the pyrolysis. So it is possible.
Okay. The clarification from Rob, he was referring to capturing it from the syngas stream. So using biochar as an adsorbent of the syngas from the pyrolysis process.
Yeah, because I told that we have not taken any pilot scale study. The release of syngas is very, very minute in our study. But nevertheless, in the month of March, we are going to establish first pilot scale plant, which will be 30 kg per hour. And we are hopeful that we will be carrying out a study related to bio-oil and syngas with that trial, which will also set the tone of techno-economic feasibility for the larger scale plant at our end.
Okay, the last 2 questions. So the first from Poonam. Have you done any plant studies to understand the nutrient use efficiency from your nutrient-enriched biochar?
Yes, we did a pot trial, and we are conducting now a plot trial also, not very large scale, but you can say in a few square meter area. Our observation was that potassium availability was very, very good. But for the first season, we found the availability of micronutrient little bit reduced because micronutrient got adsorbed on the biochar surface. So some long-term trials are also needed. Nevertheless, the plant growth were absolutely fine. So we did with maize plant. More research is needed to say something foolproof.
Mm-hmm. And the last question from Anil Kumar. Do you know the surface area water holding of your nutrient-enriched biochars, water holding capacity?
Surface area was around 25 meter square per kg, not per gram, sorry, per gram. And nutrient holding capacity, water holding capacity we have not analyzed.
Okay.
Of individually biochar. If it is being applied to soil, it increases the water holding capacity by 5 to 10% around. I'm not able to tell the figure, but it will be the water holding capacity will get increased about 5 to 10%.
Okay, great. Thank you, Manish. Very nice talk. Thank you very much for presenting, and a nice coincidence that you were on the same day than Paul.
Yeah. And sorry, my slide, I was unable to share the slide, but you helped me a lot. I extend my sincere thank to you, and I regret for inconvenience, if any, to the audience. Thank you.